we're going to begin with our breath. We always begin with our breath. Slowing down the rhythm of our mind, the pace with which our mind wants to operate right now. If we're seated on the chair, most all of us are, I invite you to just scoot forward just a little bit. You're about halfway toward the front of the chair, so the spine is nice and long. So when we scoot forward on the chair, it takes the compression out of the diaphragm, which is very helpful for breath. So for the next minute or so, we're going to explore breath with the count of 5 in, pause and hold, and then count 5 out and pause just for a half a second. The pauses are really short. We just reset, and then we're counting 5 in, pause, 5 out, pause. So won't you join me? You count for your own pace to be established. And gently return to signature breath, your personal breathing pattern. And we're going to notice our jaw and perhaps let it fall open just a wee bit. And take our tongue and press into the soft palate at the roof of our mouth. Just for a couple of breath cycles here. And then release the tongue back to its natural resting spot. And notice the jaw, soft. Feel our way into the shoulders and upper back, noticing if we're holding there. We're going to relax and drop the shoulders down. I'm going to invite you to mute if you're not already muted, please. Thank you. So we begin with our cat-cow twist sequence. So what we're building through the month of October is our toolkit for a nice, strong, healthy back. And we begin by cupping the knees, and then we arch the upper back, expanding between the shoulder blades. The shoulders are leaning toward each other, and the chin has come to the heart. We're going to breathe 3 breaths here. And then we're going to slide those hands to rest at the top of the thighs, press into the top of the thighs, Lean a little bit forward, lifting the heart, lifting the chin, finding that low back curve. And we breathe 3 breaths here. And maybe the shoulder blades draw together. And then we come to neutral. On the next out breath, we're going to take a twist to one side, pause here, lift the heart and breathe. We come back to neutral. And on the next out breath, we twist to the opposite side. The heart lifts and we breathe here. And then we come back to center. And now we're going to do a flow pattern with that. So we breathe in the center. On the out breath, we slide to cat. The in breath, our hands slide up, we lift our heart. The out breath takes us to a twist. The in breath brings us to neutral. The out breath takes us to twist. The in breath takes us to neutral. The out breath takes us to cat. The in breath brings us to cow. And the out breath twists. The in breath center. The out breath twist. The in breath center. And the last sequence, flow with your own breath. And when you're back at center, just return to natural breath, whatever that is for you. And so that's one of our standard toolkit practices for back health. It's a great way to start the day. So we're going to come to seated pigeon. And with seated pigeon, we're going to draw the ankle above the knee. But if you notice that, I'm going to turn sideways. If you notice that the knee doesn't open much, it means that the stretch we're looking for deep in the glutes, the piriformis, isn't going to be touched. So take that foot down, and we're going to use a block here. If your foot's really comfortable there, stay there, but maybe practice this. So we're going to take a block on the lowest or the shortest edge. We're going to butt it right up next to I'm working my left foot's going to stay flat. I'm working my right leg. I'm going to bring that right leg up to rest sideways on the block. If you have your ankle on the knee, follow along. We're going to hinge forward, and then we come back up. So when we hinge, we're taking an exhale and an inhale to come back up. An exhale on the hinge and an inhale back up. Now, maybe that's where the block wants to stay because you can feel the knee open. You can feel the whole activation in the pelvis. If you'd like to try a higher notch, turn it to mama bear side. So we're going to rest our foot there, and we're going to see what that feels like. So the ankle of the floor on the foot is butted up right next to the block. Come along with me as we breathe. The in-breath is vertical, and the exhale is the fold. The inhale brings us up, and the exhale is a fold. And the inhale brings us back up, and we fold on the exhale. We're going to pause here, and now we're going to turn the block all the way up, and we're going to rest it against the inside of the foot and the leg. Then we're going to bring this ankle, this foot, turn sideways to rest here. And to stabilize the block, the standing foot presses in toward the block, and we get ready for movement. Breathe in, and on the out breath, we fold forward. Breathe in, and out, we fold. Breathe in, and we fold. Then we're going to come back to neutral. We're going to take it to the other side. So maybe the ankle comes up and rests here. And you know, one side may be different than the other. So if you notice that the ankle has slid down off the thigh and the knees aimed more toward the ceiling, that's a good indication that a block would probably be a better friend here. So we're going to butt that up against the opposite foot. We're going to take a turn, and it also helps if you're seated forward on the chair. I think everybody in the studio knows that. Here we go. We're breathing out, breathing in, breathing out, and in, and one more fold. And we come back up. If you're using the block on the floor, we turn to Mama Bear. And at any point, if you decide, hey, that's a little too high, then go back to the lower notch. We're going to fold on the out breath. Here we go. Come back up to neutral, pause here. You can keep your ankle above the knee if that's what's working for you. If you want to try Papa Bear, we put that right up against the leg. We stabilize it by pressing into the ankle of the standing leg. And here we go. Breathe in and out. Exhale. And exhale. We're going to come back up. We're going to return both feet to the floor, to the mat. And we're going to take our torso to our lap. So we're hinging forward. Let the head be in alignment with the spine. We don't need to watch anything other than the floor. And then we're going to sweep our arms up to shoulder height. Breathe in, press into the floor, come to shoulder height. And fold again. Arms to shoulder height. Maybe the palms are open. And then release. This time we're going to rock forward and come to standing. Come on up. Hands come to heart center. And now we're going to do a little stretch for our upper back. This is where the block comes in handy again. I'm going to turn sideways so that this is visible. We're going to be holding the back of the chair. We're coming into a forward fold. That's going to really activate the space between the shoulder blades. We're going to be holding on to the back of the chair, and we're going to fold our head to the seat of the chair. Now, maybe that's going to be no block at all. Maybe that's going to be baby bear. Maybe it's going to be mama bear. Maybe it's going to be papa bear. We're looking to soften the space between the shoulder blades. And if papa bear isn't high enough, you can always tuck a blanket stacked up underneath the block. And we're pausing here. So this is going to give us a nice stretch in the hamstrings, which helps the back. We've got our sits bones lifted just a little bit. Maybe the knees are a little soft. We're not locking the knees out. And we're feeling the space between the shoulder blades, and we're just noticing this stretch. So that space between the shoulder blades is often unavailable to many people, especially in downward facing dog. In downward facing dog, there's a little bit of a sinking that takes place between the shoulder blades. And that's hard for a lot of folks to feel. So we're in this posture, holding it and breathing and noticing, having the upper back be softened helps every part of the body. And then we're going to bend the knees to come out of this. Let the arms slide down toward the floor. We've got bent knees. Our glutes are scooted way back. We're going to have open palms rising up here. We're just going to press into the floor, and we're coming up through chair. Our palms are facing the ceiling. We're going to keep going till we're vertical. Our arms are coming above us. The hands touch, and we come to heart center. Woo! Pause for a moment here in Tadasana, in mountain, and just notice the sensations in the body. We're coming back to the chair now, not sitting down though, we're standing up. The block can be moved out of the way. We're going to face the seat of the chair. We're going to step the left leg back, and we're taking the left hand to the center of the chair. So feet are parallel, not necessarily tightrope. We're going to bring that hand to the center of the chair. We're going to turn toward the right leg any amount. So the heart is opening. We're revolving a triangle, and really notice, do this slowly. So notice if there's any pull in the low back, stop there. And then slowly begin to titrate the posture to open. The hand can rest on the low back, on that sacrum, or maybe the arm extends. You decide, but really take your time getting in here. It's going to be a nice deep stretch up the back of the leg. We've got our belly turned. It's working the internal abdominal muscles, and it is stretching that piriformis, that tight little muscle that grabs our sacrum and pulls it out of place. So that's why we're doing Trikonasana, triangle pose, and we're breathing here. This is revolved triangle. So to come out of this, we're going to release the hand first. Then the torso comes parallel to the floor. Both hands rest on the chair. Step up. Sweep up. pause here. And now we're going to step back first with the right leg. You control how big a step you're taking. That right hand comes to the center of the chair. We're going to start by wrapping the waist. Hand can rest on the sacrum. And we slowly begin to titrate this. So we're taking slow action as we take our heart a little closer to the sky. And we pause at any point where it feels like it's pulling too much in the sacrum. So we're really conscientious and careful with ourselves not to overdo this. And perhaps the left arm extends, whatever arm this is. Oh, we're going to release that. I'm releasing that arm. And then we're slowly going to come out of this. Hand relaxes back toward the chair. Torso turns. Take a step back. Lift the sits bones to the sky. Bring the head between the upper arms. A little bit of a down dog action. Inversions are so good for us. Though counterindicated if you've just had cataract surgery. So on that note, we're going to release the hands, sliding back just a little. The hands come toward the floor. We sit down like we're sitting in the chair. We press into the feet. The arms are going to lift. Let's do palms up. We're pressing and we're going to pause here. We're in chair. Do a few pulses. And then on the next inhale, we're going to rise all the way up. So pressing into the floor. We come to mountain. And we pause here. Find breath. Feel the stability. Check the jaw. So the piriformis, which can pinch the sciatic nerve, plugs into the sacrum in the back. It has the musculature of the hip flexor, or the hip flexors are called its antagonist. So we worked the piriformis because they work opposite of each other. One flexes, one extends. We're going to stretch that hip flexor now to give the antagonist its due. So we begin, we place our hands in our pretend back pockets. We have a little bit of softness in our knee, and our feet are maybe as wide as the mat. So we got some width in our stance, and then we're going to press the pelvis forward. And we breathe 3 breaths here. This is a really good posture if you felt under siege or in crisis, because this musculature, when things are challenging, tries to pull us into fetal posture. So this is a counter posture for stressful times. We're going to press the right hip forward and the left hip back, and we're pausing here and breathing. Remember, soft knees. Coming to center, switching sides. Breathe here. We come back to center. We'll do 3 more breaths in the center. And maybe just notice how that has maybe lightened up. The psoas, the hip flexors have lightened up just a little bit. And we're going to bring this to conclusion now by first stopping in mountain. And then we return to our chair. And we enter our time of Shavasana, our final resting posture. So come to find your seat. And maybe notice how it feels. We're going to do a metta prayer today. This is another metta. May I feel protected and safe. May my heart remain open. May I awaken to the light of my true nature. May I be healed and be a source of healing for the world. May you feel protected and safe. May your heart remain open. May you awaken to the light of your true nature. May we be healed and a source of healing for the whole world. May we feel protected and safe. May our hearts remain open. May we awaken to the light of our true nature. May we be healed and be a source of healing for the whole world. We feel our fingers and toes being enlivened by breath. And we're going to open our arms wide to gather all the blessings that already exist, and we draw them in appreciation and gratitude into our hearts. And together we all say, Namaste.
Namaste.